KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning. Here we are getting ready for Dave Petzo. He'll join us. He's on his way. Dave, whatever you do, don't speed. We'll look forward to hearing from Dave Petzo. We'll hear from Larry Gebert as well. He's warming up in the bullpen. Brianna joins us now from the Boise Rescue Mission. How are you today?
I'm very well, Kevin. Thank you.
Boy, we appreciate you guys getting up and waking up and rolling. So many of your efforts start so early in the morning.
Yes, very early this morning, but you're used to that. So, what can we say? Learn at the feet of the master.
Well, that would be Larry Gebert, but thank you for that. How important is it that people consider donating, not only now, but year-round? Of course, you can do that anytime online, boiserm.org to the Boise Rescue Mission.
Boy, it's so important because the need never goes away. You look outside and you think, oh, the weather's great, things are getting better, and the kids are out of school, and yay, life is great. Well, if you're a single mom, and this is a time of year when there's a real need, and so we need to help with that, and we appreciate your helping us take care of folks.
What led you to the Boise Rescue Mission?
Gene Lockhart called me on the phone and offered me a job. No, I'm being a little facetious, but literally I was called on the phone.
You have such a great story of faith.
Oh, thank you.
And we would love to hear that this morning.
What led me to the Boise Rescue Mission was literally God's call in the form of Jean. I knew her before, and she was the president of the board of a group that I was executive director of before, and this job came open, and she called me on the phone, and she said, please come to work for me, and here's why, and she was very convincing. And it's wonderful. I'm a Boise native. I'm a Boise boomerang. I left and came back. Couldn't wait to get out of this one-horse town, and then came back, and I'm so excited to be a part of the organization that means everything to our city.
Indeed, joined by Larry Gebert as well. Larry, would you like to ask Brianna any questions? By the way,
I was just going to say it was very polite of her to say that.
Can I finish my compliment?
Oh, sorry. No, go. No, because,
There we go.
It's unnecessary.
He's rolling.
Yes.
Forget it, he's rolling.
I'll compliment myself. I just wanted to say that, you're very gracious about how Gene called you up and talked to you about a job. The truth is, it's very hard to say no to Gene Lockhart.
It is very hard.
That's really the
Just don't even try.
Well, though, for
when
people, though,
Gene, yeah.
Remember, this is a big tent, so we'd love to think that everybody knows Gene, but I'll be getting the call from Jeff the Suit. So if we could, let's get back to, the idea of giving it. And Larry,
I just thought I'd better say something nice about Jean in case she comes by later. I want to be on her good side.
Well, thank you again. Another 75th shout out to Gene Lockhart,
there we go.
who does so much good for the rescue mission. But we have Brianna here, Larry Gebert.
Kevin Miller, the incredible Kevin Miller. Nobody gives you any accolades. I should do that.
Well, no.
There's not very many people can rock an orange shirt like that and really make it work for them.
And that really
works.
It's radio.
Honestly,
Larry.
I do feel like going in and buying some fresh fruit, though, that is the same color and peeling it just because of your appeal today, Kevin.
Well, yes, I look like a giant orange. Thank you, Larry, for those people keeping score at home. But it is so important, Larry, and you have done this. You've set the example for years here in the Treasure Valley of giving of yourself, your efforts, your energy, you and your friends at Channel 7, your employer at Channel 7. I'm trying to be nice to Channel 7, but you guys give so much. Why is it important that you all are out here? By the way, we want to thank you for being here as well.
Well, we're committed to the community. There's no question about that. I think you recognize, too, that, the one thing that I remember most is the very first line that was ever written by the federal government about broadcast anything. It was radio back in those days. Was that the very first line says, and I might get this a little bit wrong, but let me try to quote it, that it was that stations will be created in communities across the country to serve the local need. And I think that's one thing we have to always remember in broadcasting. That's why we're here. We're here to serve the local need. Yeah, we're entertaining. Yeah, we have information. We have news. We have programming. We have different things that we do. But we're here to serve the local need. And when you see the need being served by an organization like the Rescue Mission, it's pretty easy to say we just need to get their message out to help them. Because, there's no government funding for anything that they do. They're here to help. They're here to make a difference. And when I say make a difference, really it's changing lives. They're here to change lives. For whatever reason, people end up at the Rescue Mission. There's a wide variety of reasons. I know, Brianna, you see them all the time. And they walk into the place at bottom. I mean, and bottom is bottom. I mean, you're out of everything. You don't have a job. You don't have insurance. You don't have any money.
You don't have clothes.
You don't have any friends.
Right.
You don't have any clothes. And you don't have any family. Everyone has given up on you at that point. You basically have been thrown away by everyone. And you come to the rescue mission, and they don't throw you away. They take you in.
We remember at the rescue mission that we're all in this together. You know, this is one community, this is one city, and we are one people. And these are our brothers and sisters in Christ, and this is how we serve them. And I love it. It's great.
It is. You know, and the message is simple. And for those who think that religion is forced on people who come to the rescue mission, it's not. It's offered to them. It's offered to them as a course of action, as something that they can believe in, as a way to turn your life around. So it's not forced on anyone. It's offered to you, and it's a way of reaching salvation. It's a way of helping yourself. It's really it's your hand up. It's not a hand out. It's a hand up, and
Saint
religion
Francis,
is a big part of that.
Right? Preach the gospel at all times. When necessary, use words.
Yeah.
All right, Brianna, anything else you'd like to share with us today?
Thank you so much for everything that both of you do.
Well, we would love for you to donate, boiserm.org, online anytime, or stop by and see us. Sunscreen and swimsuits make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Especially, the sunscreen. It's a necessity. It's a necessity. As one redhead to another, obviously this is something
that
we
really
need.
a redhead, though.
I was.
Okay.
She might have put a few highlights in there, Kevin.
I might have.
To kind of change it to a little lighter color version of.
Which really works well on radio, Larry.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
Larry,
it does work
are
well.
we really going to talk about hair? Is that what we're going to talk about?
No, we're not going to go there. Now we're going to
Okay.
talk about hair. When I told Kevin that I wished I had his hair, and he said he doesn't have enough, and I said, it's way more than I've got. Way more than I've got.
Story of my life. Brianna,
Yeah.
thank you. Appreciate it. Dave Petzo joins us now here on who is not follically challenged. Larry, you're leaving us here.
Petzo requires way more space than ordinary people.
No, I wanted you to grill Dave Petzo here. This is our weekly segment. Dave Petzo, thank you. Did you speed at all? Please tell me you didn't speed.
Well, can I actually be arrested if I say yes?
No.
I mean, it's 5 miles over. Okay.
Okay.
Give us your license plate number. We'll see to it. They talk to you on the way back.
They follow me on the way
Yeah.
back. That's exactly right.
From Channel 7 here, that was record time.
That is pretty good time. But an important message. How can you grill a guy like Dave Petzo when things are going so well these days in investments in the markets?
Oh no, I always cheer against him. This is that.
Do you?
Yes.
You cheer against him. What?
I cheer against the markets. I cheer against the markets. Yes.
So you're a bear, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, I'm a bear.
You want to see everything go down. Was that because you forgot to invest? You wanted to go back down so you can get in again at the
Fear
bottom?
of missing out. Yes.
Yeah, fear
yes.
of missing out. Yeah. No, things have gone well. Dave and I talk about certain stocks out there that have just done some amazing things, and it's an interesting time. Because the stock market usually fluctuates with every time the president clears his throat.
Just like the weather.
And right now we're in a situation where it's just everybody keeps looking at what's going on, going, this is really interesting.
And it's really working. It is. It's a different presidency for sure, Larry. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The tweeting, getting in picking fights with people that aren't even in politics. It's real different.
Is it really working? Because we've had some ups and downs, Dave.
We've
had some ups and downs.
I'll take up 40% since he was elected.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
There's actually been some pretty good increases. I mean, even those of us who just have like a 401k, and things like that, you get a statement from the 401k and you go, wow. That something must be going right if it's looking because I used to say that my 401k if I worked until age 70 and then dropped dead at age 71 that my 401k would take care of me for 3 or 4 months. I could be a burden on my children for 2 months and then they'd be awarded the state and pass away.
But that's why you have kids so they can take care of you, right?
Yeah, but that's only going to be for about 2 weeks. That's all that they'd be able to take care of me. So I was counting on my 401k, but it was only going to get me past 3 months. Now I think there's actually hope.
That's good. That's good. I'm going to need a pad of paper. That sounds like a plan I should be sharing with my clients, right? The 3-month retirement plan.
Indeed. Now, Dave Petzo, I have to hit you with this one. I was listening to you. Actually, I was in studio on Saturday morning.
Yes.
And I was monitoring you.
Yes.
And you were a fan of the royal wedding.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of.
You got up early to watch it?
3 a.m. Yeah. I wanted to make sure that I could catch
Harry and Sally.
Thank you. Is it Sally and Harry?
Yes.
Yes. Harry met Sally.
Exactly.
Good. Yes. 3 a.m. so I could watch a wedding about people from another country that have absolutely no power in the world. It's weird to me, Kevin. It is. I'm sorry.
You devoted a lot of your time to that on Saturday.
Well, it was a tiring day. It was a long day.
It was a long Well, coming up, Dave Petzo and I will talk about the markets. We'll also talk about the Boise Rescue Mission, an organization that you care very much about.
Yeah, they're top of mind all the time for me, yes. They're
all right.
a great organization.
All right, more coming up with Dave Petzo next. Live from Miller's Mission on KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, live from Walmart. Where are we? Garrity Boulevard. That's
Garrity.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey, how are you?
I got it, Kelsey. Let me turn you on. There you go.
I'm doing good, Dave. How are you?
Good. The rock star for the Boise Rescue Mission. This is just one of how many events do you do a year?
I think we're at around 65 events a year for the rescue mission.
65.
Yep.
Now these are big ones, though, are they not? I mean, this is huge.
This one's a big undertaking, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, mostly from Kevin and the station, but also here at the rescue mission, we do a lot in preparation. We're just excited to be here, and it's a long one. So
this is a long one. So you're going to be camping here as well?
Well, I get to go home at night, so
No, the only one that'll be camping, Dave, is me. But thank you.
I always like to point that out, though. It's nice.
It is, and of course we couldn't do it without the Boise Rescue Mission, Camping World, Team Mazda Subaru, and you. You know, Dave, as Kelsey and I have been talking about, along with our friend Larry Gebert, Idaho is the fastest growing state in the country.
Yep.
A lot of people may not be familiar with the Boise Rescue Mission. The fact that we're talking about no government funds, no outside interest, everything that happens here, the magic, the transformation, is because of the volunteers and the donations.
Yes, it is. And people that work there just to give their heart, their life. It's an amazing thing. Anyway, you really hit on a couple things that are really near and dear, and people don't recognize what a difference it makes to not get government money. It means you don't have to follow the government rules, which can be very restrictive. And I'm not saying the government rules are all bad.
Now, wait a minute. Usually you are.
Most of them are. Okay. But my point here is this. Let's say you have somebody that's, I've come to learn this over the years, but you have somebody who has, for example, been on meth, which is a really mind-altering problem for people. And it doesn't go fast, meaning it doesn't leave your body fast. But if you have a government program, in 90 days you may be clean, but you're not ready to live life. But you're out of the program. So the recidivation rate is terrible. It's excellent at the Boise Rescue Mission because there are no rules. If people need 6 months, right? I mean, people have been there a year, haven't they?
Yeah, even up to 2 years when they're getting their GED at times. It could take people a long time.
Right. And they need that protective environment to be successful. But what is that number? Something like 2,000 people have come into the rescue mission over the last 5 years. Over 2,000 have come in jobless, homeless, and left with a job. And that's not just those 2,000 people. That's thousands more of families, and that's getting the job done.
And that's where you come in at BoiseRM.org, or stop by and see us, and to make a difference. From our friend the capitalist Dave Petzo to Kelsey, it is amazing to see the lives that are transformed. And as I've said, it's wonderful that we have people that give overseas. But as both of you can attest, you've met people, you've seen people that all of a sudden go from getting a helping hand from the Boise Rescue Mission to owning their own businesses.
Absolutely. Kelsey has a marvelous story. I'm sure this week you'll share that too. But it's story after story. You can't.
But they're real lives,
But they are real lives, and it's not. Yeah, you're right. You're not relaying. This is a story I heard about a guy in Chicago. This is about half of the staff has been through the programs and now living their life to serve others. It's astounding. The turnarounds are amazing.
I can't help but think about the children behind each one of these families. And, you think about people are like, why give to the men? I hear that so much. But that's where this family recovery starts, is with the men. They have children, too. They have families that are being disconnected from. And when I was talking with the men and doing some pre-records for you, I thought about their kids back home. I mean, it just spreads. Not only their children, but then that story is going to affect the people that they encounter. And it's just going to grow.
And let's talk about the need in the summer. Obviously, swimsuits. We're looking at sunscreen. I can remember, like 4 or 5 years ago, Dave Petzo, you came in with like cases of sunscreen, stuff that we take for granted, but that really makes a difference as someone who I like the sun, but the sun doesn't like me. It's so important to protect yourself now more than ever. So sunscreens, swimsuits, cash.
Snack items. We really need snacky foods, fruit roll-ups, crackers, juice boxes for the kids' program kiddos. We need twin bed sheets. We need pillowcases, and we need towels and washcloths. We're in need of all of those things. Flip-flops, summer clothes for kids. We especially need new clothes so that we know that they can wear that into the first of school, too.
And more coming up, traffic and weather together. And we move along, and here we are once again at the Nampa Walmart. Kevin Miller along with Dave Petzo and our friend Kelsey from the Boise Rescue Mission. Now, Dave, you hang out with Warren Buffett and Paul Allen. Yeah. And on one hand, you're dealing with the finances at the highest levels, but then you come here and it's grassroots. So what is the appeal for you with the Boise Rescue Mission?
Well, it's multifaceted. I have a history with my grandparents that of them running a settlement house, which we don't know what that is out west, but they're in the poorest of communities. And back in the day when I was growing up, poor was really, really poor in the coal mining country in West Virginia. And so that kind of, I guess it kind of resonated with me over the years. So even though I'm in the capitalist world, as you like to put it, we all are, it always sat with me. And so I really appreciate the folks that give their lives to try to get people out of miserable circumstances.
Kelsey, anything else you'd like to share with us here? We'll be talking to you and others throughout the morning, but...
Yeah, I was just thinking about, as you think about the kids that we're going to serve, we really need clothes for our older kids. You know, it's easy to think about the babies and the diapers and things, but what we really need is for that, age 10 and up, those teenage boys, teenage girls, we need clothes for them. That's so hard to come by. We never have that donated. People just don't think about that size 16 and 18 and things like that. So that's something we could use down here.
Sure. Brand new, gently used?
Both. Absolutely.
And cash. We appreciate that. Anything else, Kelsey? We'll be talking to you in a few minutes.
Just thank you so much for being here, Kevin.
Well, it's a blessing, a privilege. Kelsey, once again, rejoined by Dave Petzo. And how about that governor's race?
That was something.
Tommy Ahlquist was looking at you on Tuesday night. He goes, "Hey,
I'm bringing you on board," or something like that. Right?
I thought he said we got to get you. I thought he said we got to get you on board.
Got to get you on board. That was
right.
Yeah.
And I said, Tommy, I was with you all the way, not Dave.
Yeah.
And then I said, Raul, I was with you all the way. And then Brad, not Dave. Brad, I was with you all the way. Actually, Dave was with you all the way. But what does that say? Your analysis of what happened on Tuesday night?
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously I'm not a political analyst, but I think that
compared to the host, yes, you are.
Oh, so sure. I think that it's one of those interesting contests where you have, if you will, two sort of outsiders to Brad Little, and I think in a way they split the vote enough to not make it as close a race as I thought it was going to be. I thought Raul would be a much stronger candidate, and I think he worked. He was still working, but I didn't see him as much as we saw the other candidates. And you're right about Tommy worked harder than any other candidates, in my opinion. He was out there more and worked harder. But Brad has a good, solid base there, and let's face it, the state is doing well. You may not like this or that, or another person wants something to be changed, but the fact of the matter is people are moving to Idaho because the economy is good, life is good here, and taxes are not low, but they're not California high either.
Right, and that's something that we'll get into, how business-friendly is the state of Idaho.
Yep.
But let me correct myself. I cut you off because you almost called it, you were going to call it for Brad Little about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I said, no, we're an open tunnel, but you had Brad Little winning.
Well, only because when you think about it, and I didn't, it's not any foresight there or polling data. I appreciate it. And I'm giving you a little bit of humility here on this. Because anybody can make a guess and get right and lucky sometimes. So
right.
I just, in that case, I think that there's a structure there of people that are going to be voting for Brad, because he's a good man. There's no question. Nobody thinks that Brad Little isn't a good man. And they really, are we that tired of the state when we think of how good a shape it's in? And let's face it, the infrastructure here of supporters is high for Brad, a built-in structure statewide.
We'll get into that and what it means for the economy of Idaho next with Dave Petzo Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio, broadcasting from the Nampa Walmart. Garrity and Franklin, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie. And still time to give. 580 KIDO, 107.5 FM, AM 580. Kevin Miller in the morning. Dave Petzo with us. We're joined by Brittany from the Boise Rescue Mission. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us a little bit about you, Brittany.
Well, I moved here about a year ago. So I've been in the New Life program at the mission for a year now, and so it's just been awesome.
Really?
Yeah. It's
been awesome. I hear that's a challenging program.
Yeah, it's been challenging. I came here really broken, you know. I felt really hopeless and really lost, but thanks to this program, you know, I've seen a lot of changes in my life and in my kids' life. They live in Washington with my mom, but last year I barely got to speak with them, and I thought that I wasn't going to have a relationship with them. And now this summer they're actually going to be coming and spending the whole summer with me. And
boy, that means a lot, Dave Petzo, when you hear this from Brittany about the New Life program. Of course, as you know, that's a strenuous program, but they've had a lot of success.
Yeah, it works. It works. This works so well for people, and it's that's what they're there for. This is a real life changing story.
Right, and that's why we're here. BoiseRM.org, online anytime, or stop by and see us at the Nampa Walmart. Why did you want to change, Brittany? What brought you to the rescue mission? Everybody wants to do something, but to actually take the first steps for freedom.
Well, I really I didn't see any other way. And I just remember being in the hospital in April of 2017, thinking that I was going to die, being told that there was a possibility I was not going to live because of a disease I had gotten from the life I was living. And I remember hearing about this program and from a detox center in Washington, and I decided that I wanted to come out here and make that change, you know. There just wasn't another way, and I am so grateful that I made that choice, you know. Sure.
Anything else you'd like to share with us?
I am just so thankful for all the people who give to the mission, you know, and have made it possible for me to be there, you know. I didn't have anywhere to go, and there just wasn't a program out there in Washington for me to go to. There isn't a lot of long-term places that were open that could just take me in, and you guys had a place for me because of the people who give, and I'm so grateful for that.
All right, Brittany, thank you very much. Certainly hitting close to home, Dave Petzo, for all of us.
For sure.
Indeed. BoiseRM.org, online anytime, and you can help Brittany. You know, Dave Petzo, when we take a look and we cover the news of the day at 107.5 FM or 580 AM, we talk about the opioid crisis, and we talk about meth and everything else, and we live in our little enclaves, we live in our worlds, and when we hear Brittany speak, it really, at least for those listening, I think brings it home that these are real-life people in the Treasure Valley.
Yeah, it's easy to read about a story and not think about it. But you walk through the rescue mission and you see the lives change, different stages. You see people who have just come in, you see people who have been there a couple months, and then you see people who are really about ready to leave. And it's a process, it's a system they have, and it works. It really works.
And it's a great ROI.
It's a tremendous. For the capitalist, yes. We were actually talking about this and how big a deal it is to people. I think that we miss this. I was talking with one of the folks who works at the rescue mission that I think we miss sometimes. That how big a deal it is to have the most successful program out there. We just don't talk enough about with the rescue mission how high their success rate is. They've got the secret sauce. No government program comes close. None of them are even.
Well,
they're not remotely close. And so if you want a real return on investment,
right.
This is the greatest return I know.
Well, that's I was trying to use a term that you people.
I
use.
like it. I got caught right on. Yes.
I could tell. Let's get back to this election for a minute. Brad Little wins, and you take a look at, people are criticizing the tactics at the end, but when you have the money, when you have the talent, when you have the resources, I really think it came down to the end. And obviously their polling said to switch their target to Congressman Labrador. And the Labrador campaign, they've always said they were underfunded. He was working another job, obviously representing us in the 1st Congressional District. I think that those, unfortunately for his campaign, unfortunately for the Little campaign, that's what paid off. They had an ad that came out, true or not, that the Labrador camp did not have an answer for. And as we've talked about in advertising and in radio and media, it's frequency, and reinforcing that message. And I think that's what swung the table to Lieutenant Governor at the end.
It could have. I also think that the grassroots effort in these primaries is so critical, and that's tough to measure, right? You can't really measure how many people you're getting out that are like, I'm for Brad,
Well, he had what, 75,000 people voted for him.
Yep.
Conventional wisdom said that 60,000 would win it for you, and I think the congressman had like 61.
Yep.
I think Dr. Alquist had around 50, 55. So, and get this, I think voting was up in Ada County by 50%. So that's huge.
It is huge. It shows that it was a very involved race. And you go in, and of course, most primaries, as we saw on the ballot, I think I voted for 2 people. I voted for a third because somebody I personally liked.
Did you write
but all
in?
you're doing is filling in a box of an unopposed person. But
I was hoping you were going to write me in. I wrote myself.
I did.
In,
you didn't. It must not have registered.
Story of my life.
2 votes probably didn't get there, Kevin.
Indeed. So we have the governor's race. Then we have this highly contested lieutenant governor's race.
Yeah.
Where you have our friend Steve Yates, who lost narrowly to Janice McGeehan, former state rep. And, Steve Yates had a very detailed, very well thought out strategy. Didn't include radio. And you had McGeehan, who her digital strategy was led by Parrish Miller, who did a great job. But she did invest conventionally. And you got to think those 3,000 or 4,000 votes that cost Yates could have been had if he had invested in radio. It's a very,
you don't know, but I agree with you. I think it's something that you do it in a conventional way. And let's face it, Kevin, for a Republican primary, which audience would you rather talk to? Of any audience out there would be your audience. That would absolutely be the people you want to persuade. They vote. They're involved. They listen every day. They call in, and they also are driving their friends as much as possible to the polls as well.
Right. I mean, you could have a dizzle and a dazzle, but in the end, the people that are engaged are the people that listen to talk radio.
They are.
But you go back to the former chairman, Steve Yates, who worked for Vice President Cheney. Sadly, we had a lot of negative ads against him on social media and such, claiming he was Hillary Clinton and all these things.
Yeah.
And farthest from the truth, but you have to probably figure out that cost him a little.
It could. Again, if people believe everything they read on social media, well, I'm not sure that they're actually intelligent enough to be listening to talk radio. So I'm not sure that they're that big an audience.
More coming up with Dave Petzo, Kevin Miller, Miller's Mission, benefiting the Boise Rescue Mission on KIDO Talk Radio.
I was on the streets living pretty rough, and I lived in Montana for a long time. I moved to Idaho trying to hopefully rebuild my life, and I just, instead of in Montana, I was doing it in Idaho. And I made an attempt at suicide, and they realized that, hey, this guy's a Christian man, and they found this program for me, and I had my thoughts about it, and I was really skeptical, and I came, and throughout a few weeks, my mind had changed, and my thought processes had changed, that, hey, this program's worth a shot at having a new life, and this program has done it for me, making my thoughts different, and my behaviors different. It's wonderful, it's great, it's beyond anything I could even say. they've, people that actually care about me and care about what direction I do and what I do with my life. It's just wonderful. I couldn't possibly thank enough people, and just seeing people that care about me. And seeing it in their face and their eyes, looking at me like, hey, this guy's worth something, not just a scumbag on the street, He has put me here. I prayed about this in the place where I was at in the hospital, and I had two places to go. I decided either to go to Montana or Idaho, and I said, God, I'll go whatever way you want me to go. And here He put me here, and I'm just leaving it in God's hands, not mine. My children mean the world to me, and I am rekindling my relationships with my children and doing things that I, never would before. I've been writing letters and, just to know how they're doing. One day I was working at the desk, and all of a sudden I get a phone call, answer just like I'm usually supposed to do, and it was my daughter. She goes, "Hi, Dad, how are you?" I was shocked. It rebuilds men's lives. It's rebuilding me, giving me hope and a view of a future that I can, if I stay strong in the Lord, He'll give it to me. Thank you for a chance at life.
Getting a job, getting a GED, the veterans programs that are there. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, what's next?
Well, I can tell you we have a couple of things on the radar right now that we're looking at to the future, and there are things to do. There are still unmet needs amongst homeless people that we think we might be able to make an impact in, and we're looking at some of that right now. But the fact is we've grown and developed programs not for the sake of developing programs and having more buildings, but for the sake of the people who are out there on the street, people who are on the edge in life. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a lot of talk this week. We're going to talk a lot this week about the children and the needs that the children have. And boy, I'll tell you, Dave, and I know you well enough to know, and Kevin too, that those kids are right in the front of our minds all the time. Mm-hmm. When you see that lady going down the street with a kid in a stroller and one by the hand and everything they own in a bag, boy, that's heartbreaking, and it shouldn't be that way. And there's a strange phenomena going on here with the disintegration of family, where people can become absolutely isolated and absolutely alone. Mm-hmm. And imagine the fear in that woman's heart when she considers that she has a kid or two and herself, and she's alone. Right. So just being that place of refuge, that immediate sanctuary from the danger, is a wonderful thing for us to do. And we're going to keep doing that. We're always going to do that. But we want to help that lady to change her thinking, change her mind, learn what she needs to know to be able to sustain herself and her children and live a good life in a place of their own.
And that's where your donations come in. Dave Petzo, Reverend Bill, Miller's Mission, Traffic and Weather Together at KIDO. And let's see if Hank is still here at KIDO Talk Radio for Dave Petzo. Hello, Hank.
Oh, well, I was going to ask Dave Petzo this question, and I was going to throw another one in that I just thought of. What should be the percentage of profit in relationship to the stock price, whether you consider a stock price overpriced or underpriced?
Hank, it depends. It depends totally on the growth rate of that company, and also whether the business structure, something like Amazon, really doesn't have a lot of profit, and obviously sells for a huge multiple, but they're growing very rapidly, and everybody realizes how much is going back in. They make it clear how much they're reinvesting back in the business. So the actual profit is very, very low, and they can command a high PE ratio. Same with Priceline and Netflix. They pour so much back in. But when you're talking about a standard company that's, I always go back to it's overly simplistic, but it's called the PEG ratio, price to earnings growth rate, and that is basically taking the earnings and taking it down to the price and saying how fast is a company growing, because a fast grower should command a higher price, Hank.
All right, Hank, thank you for the call. Let's go to Doug in Mountain Home at KIDO. And Doug, sorry about that. Let's go to Mike Tracy joining us now at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Mike Tracy.
Good morning, Kevin, and good morning, Dave, and good morning, Bill. It's good to hear from all three of you. And Dave Petzo, after Stuart Barney and Jim Cramer, you are my next favorite fiscal analyst.
Wow.
Yeah, I make my decisions based on what you three say on a weekly basis.
It's very kind of you to throw me in that group. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Bill, based on what I heard you ask for, I'm going through the closets, and we're going to take as big a load of clothes as we can, and I would encourage everybody to do that because you guys do a tremendous job with what you do. And, Bill, I'm so proud to know you, just to know you. And, a political hack like me is small potatoes compared to the things that you do for people on a daily basis. And we're lucky to have you in our community.
That's very kind of you. Thank you for that.
You bet. And Kevin, number 3, my wife just retired as a teacher, and she considered to do the concealed carry into the classroom, but she was retiring, so she opted not to do that in the school district she was in. As you know, we already have school districts that are doing it, and the good thing is students and people who might go into that school don't know who those teachers are, and I think that's the way it should be, and that makes it very risky for somebody to go in with a gun that might want to try to harm those children and those teachers and the staff and anybody else who might be there when they don't know who might have a weapon that could shoot back at them immediately. And so I'm very supportive of it, but those people have to be screened and well-trained, and we have plenty of those kinds of people. My wife was a marksman and trained by her father, who was taught concealed carry for decades. So there are a lot of people, and we also have police officers and military personnel that can be in there. So we have a lot of good people, and I would say that it's something that in Idaho and in Texas, especially those 2 states, where we can do that and make it happen and make it work well and make it work safely.
And there we have it, Mike Tracy. We appreciate it, and we'll have more.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, our great friend Mike Tracy, the premier political consultant here in the Treasure Valley. More coming up with Dave Petzo, Reverend Bill, folks from the Boise Rescue Mission, Larry Gebert. It is Miller's Mission once again, where we ask you, not to give a turkey, not be a turkey. That's in the fall. But Clothes for Kids, this is a very important campaign that we do every spring to raise awareness for Treasure Valley families. Donate online anytime at boiserm.org. More coming up. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.